Power Query. What does Power Query means? And I will also make it an interactive session, please, because I would like us to get what I'm about to talk about here. So Power Query, in essence, I know a lot of us might have heard about it. Please, as anyone, you can just give reaction if you've heard about Power Query before or you've used it before in one way or the other. So you can just give us a thumb up reaction or things like, yeah, thank you. Yeah. So Power Query, it's not only in Excel that Power Query can be found. You can find it also in Power BI, which is an ETL tool. And what does ETL tool mean? ETL is like an extraction. It's just like a tool for transforming and preparing your data, right? And Power Query, you can actually get a lot of data, right? You can get data from different sources using Power Query. So it's just like an extraction tool that you can use to get data from a source. And you have different sources that you can get data from before applying your transformation on it. As we said, that it is an ETL tool. So it's just ETL is extraction, transformation, and then loading. Let me just type it in here. ETL tool, and that is extraction, transformation, and then loading tool. So it helps you to transform, to extract your data first and then transform the data. And if you're talking about transformation, there are a lot of things that goes into transformation, like cleaning it, preparing it for the for the request or specifications that you want to do with that data. And then before loading it, and your loading can be in diverse ways. You can load it back to Excel, or you can load it as a connection, whereby you can use this to build models, right? When we're talking about relationship modeling. So it's either you load it into Excel back, or load it as a connection, or load it into Power BI. So those are the three major processes, or processes for Power Query: extraction, transformation, and then loading. And so using Power Query, it's also a business intelligence tool. You know, we have Power BI, Tableau, Sense that can be used for visualizations, like a business intelligence tool. Also, Power Query is the one embedded inside Microsoft Excel, right? Which is like a business intelligence tool offered by Microsoft Excel. And then I said there are various sources that you can get your data from. And on Excel, you know, we have different tabs in here: home, inserts, draw, and the likes. Power Query, you can find it under data, but you will not see it as Power Query anyway. So you don't see Power Query, the way all these things are written, queries and connections, you won't see it as Power Queries. But however, in this tab here, you can see that you can see get and transform data. I'm so sorry, my baby's here. Get and transform data. So under this get and transform data, you see get data, right? Please, can you see my screen? Let me just have a thumbs up so that my network is not giving me issue today. Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so you can see it under this data view, and then you can see get data. This get data just ensures you that you can get data from any sources, even web. So if you have somewhere from the web that you want to extract data from, you can also use this get data, and you just ensure that you're getting it from the web version, right? And if the web version, you come to other sources. So from other sources, you can see that we have from file, from database, from Azure, from Power Platform, online services, other sources. And from these online sources, you can see from web. So if you have any data in the web, online that you just need to extract, then you just come to this from web, and then you get in the link and put it in there. So also from these online sources, you can see SharePoint list. I don't know if anyone of us has worked with SharePoint. SharePoint is also a tool in Microsoft, right, where you can use to store data. So it's just like a data storage, right? So that's the SharePoint list. So as I've said, Power Query allows you to import data from different sources: Excel, text, CSV files, web, databases. And under databases, we have different databases. We have SQL Server databases. We have MySQL. However, for MySQL, you have to import a drive first. You have to import it before, you just have to import and install a drive before we'll be able to access my SQL database. So because I've installed it, that's what I'm saying from my SQL database. But if I've not installed it, you will not be able to see it. Then I'll try to explain something for it because in some way, I don't know the kind of version, Excel version some of us are using. So if it is not Excel version 2016 and above, you might not be able to see this tab, right? You might not be able to see this. So sorry. Okay, so you might not be able to see 20 this tab here, sub tab, you might not be able to see it if it is 2010 and 2013 version. So if it's 2010 and 2013 version, it's just like an add-on here that will have to be installed on your laptop. So you download an add-on, that's when you cannot access Power Query, right? But if it is 2016 and above, so if you're using 2016 and above Excel version, then you can see this in there. So let's move on. As I've said, don't forget 2016 and above Excel version. That's where you can see you'll get data and the likes in there. But if it is not 2016 and above, then it will be like a add-on that you download and then install on your laptop. That's before you can get it. So for Power Query, we have 4 phases of Power Query. As I've said, there is an ETL tool, and I've given you the definition of this ETL. But there are 4 phases of Power Query that allows you to extract, right? Do your extraction, do your transformation, and then do your loading. So these 4 phases, they are called connect, transform, combine, and then load. So these are the 4 phases of Power Query that allows you to do all these 3 processes, right? So sorry, I'm so sorry for the background voices. Yeah. So as I've said, these 4 phases of Power Query, right? It allows you to do this extraction, this transformation, and then loading of your data. And what does connect means? As I've said earlier, connect just allow you to get your data. It allows you to extract data from different sources that you have, which I've mentioned that we have databases, files, web pages, and the likes, right? It also allow you sometimes you can also specify your authentication. There are some times that especially when you are bringing it from databases. So if you're picking SQL Server database, it will ask you for some authentication like database server, database user. Can you see what I'm showing us? So you have to type in your server name, your database name. Let me just leave that for now. So that's the thing about the connect. Then if you come to transform, so under the transformation, that's when it gives you variety of things to use to clean your data. So the first one helps you to connect, right? You're getting your data set. And then the second one, after getting in the data set, you have to clean it up. That is where the transformation comes in. So you clean it, you reshape it. There are some times that you just need to transpose your data. Maybe the way the data is not actually in the right row and column or in the right specified format, schema that you can allow to visualize or analyze your data. So you just have to do all those cleaning, reshaping, and that will just help you to meet your specific needs that you want this data to fix in. Do you understand? So, and we have different common data transformation, right? We under it, let me type in here and say it. We have like removing duplicates. Under transformations, we have like merging data, sorry. We have like merging or appending data. Also, we have like splitting columns. There are some times that you have a particular column that you want to split. Maybe we have a Adebola, right? Adesoyin, that's my full name, right? You want these names, you want to split it into 2 so that you have first name in 1 column and then last name in second column. So you use splitting column, right, to do all those things. Then you also have some pivoting. So all these are just under transformation or even adding. You can also add columns,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Adebola.
Yes,
Your
please.
your voice is faster. Yeah, your voice is faster than your screen. So you
Not
might want to
again.
go back to that. Yes, you might want to go back and just revise what you've just said. You can start from the splitting column.
Oh, okay,
Thank you.
splitting. Okay, okay, thank you. So as I said all these things that we're seeing here, they are under transformation. Let me color those. Yeah. So they are under transformation, right? You can remove duplicates under transformation. You can merge, append data. You can split column. As I said, the splitting column, let me assume that in a column, I have a full name, Adebola, right? Adesoyin, right? I have a full name inside the column. I want to separate this column into two. So I have first name separately and then last name separately based on your data specification, your specific needs, right? What you want to use this data to do. Because before you can analyze data, you have to know what you want to do exactly. You have to have your specification or we call it requirements. So it's just like a business requirement document. So when your stakeholder says, oh, I want to be able to see this and see this in my data, like I want to be able to see first name, right? Because I want my data to have only first name. I don't want it to show the last name of people. So you have to now split that column that is having that full name into two. So you would want to have it as Adebola separately here, and then in the next column at this one separately. And splitting of columns would help you to do that. So and splitting you can use delimiter, but when we get to Power Query, I'll just show you how all those things are. Before moving there, that's why I'm explaining all this. And there are some processes that will involve pivoting data. And what does we mean that what do we mean by pivoting? I have my column. Let me say I have names like Ade, then another name Bola, another name Kati, another name like that. But you all these things cannot be a specific column. You cannot have Ade as a column, Bola as a column, Katu as a column, right? We want to have all these things like this. We want to have it in just one column as Ade, Bola, Katu. So what it's just like pivoting it, or let me say like transposing it. So if you have something, a data like this, right, you have to now change it back into this way. So it's just like you pivoting it back to the right way that it's supposed to be. So all these things are found under the transformation tab in Power Query. Then we have combine. Under combine is this merging and appending comes in. So combine is like I want to combine two data sets together, or I want to combine data from different sources together. So I have one work data in workbook A, I have another data in workbook B, or I have another data in SQL Server database. I have another data in SharePoint list. I have another data in web. So all these things, right? I need to bring them all into one place. So this Power Query also helps you to combine all those data together and bring them into just one place and then make use of them, right? Where you can now do some relationship. Oh, I want to relate this table to this table. I want to relate the table coming from Excel to the table coming from CSV files. I want to relate the table coming from CSV files to the table coming from database. So combines help you to do that. And then the loading. The loading is the final phase of the Power Query. And the loading helps you to specify where you load the transform data. From this place now, you've already transformed your data, right? And then that transform data, you need to load it somewhere because you cannot just make use of it where it is. You have to load it somewhere. So the loading cannot be an Excel worksheet. You can load it back to Excel, right? Or you load it to a Power BI report. However, for this session, we'll be speaking directly into Excel. So when you get to Power BI later on, the person that will be handling it will also teach you how to load this to Power BI. So with that, if you're loading it to Excel, it just helps you to automatically now refresh your data because it is when you load it, that is when you can now schedule refresh. You've loaded something, but where the data is coming from, the data you always have every day. The data is always coming into that data source, and then your ETL2, which is your Power Query, helps you to extract it every time. However, to now get a refreshed data, it's after loading. So it is until you load it back, that is when you now go to where you can now schedule your refresh and say, okay, every 2 days, every 2 hours, I want you to refresh this data set for me and load it back. So do we get that before moving on? Is there any question before moving on?
Yes, I can see some hands raised. We unmute them now so that they can talk.
Okay.
So Zainab, you have the mic. You can talk. You can ask your question. Go ahead. Hello, Zainab.
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear
Can
me?
you speak louder? I can't
Can you
hear
hear
you
me,
very
please?
well. Can you speak louder? Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. So I don't know if it's
Adebola,
from
can
my
you
end.
hear? Can you hear?
It's faint. Please, can you speak louder?
It's faint. Please speak louder. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, please?
Yes, it's better now.
Okay. All right. So what I'm saying, I don't know if it's from my end. I tried to leave the group and join again, but it's your voice is not syncing with the screen. I don't know if it's from my end alone. Did you hear me, please?
Eh? Please,
Did
Bisola,
you hear what I said?
can you hear that?
She said your voice is not syncing with your screen. That is, your voice is faster than the screen or this. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's what
yeah.
she's trying to make out.
Yes, please. I've joined and joined, but it's still the same.
So that's what she's trying to pass along. That she can't. Your voice is
Yeah,
faster
I
than
totally
your
moved
screen.
from where I was last week.
And I think other people have the same. They're
Okay.
making the same thing.
Okay. I think yes, it is a common issue in the chat.
Oh,
Both I've been saying that.
sorry.
People have been saying that. Maybe it's the network.
Our network, right?
Hello, Adebola.
Sorry. Let me log out and log in back.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. I have read you now. No problem.
I'm so sorry. I actually changed my location from where I was last week to this place to even confirm. Wait, is it that bad again?
Zanab, can you answer her back?
Okay. What did you say, ma?
I said, is it that bad?
No, not very bad, but when you said cut to all those songs, I was trying to look for it until after few seconds before it came up. So it's hard to follow.
Okay, let me try again. But do you understand my explanation? Do we all understand the explanation I've given?
Fairly, it's not well. It's we can I can still cope. I don't know for that. I can still cope, but it's fairly, it's not different. It's better than seeing and understanding and seeing the way you are doing it. Don't know. I can cope.
Okay.
Adebola, should I take the second person?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, please. Yes.
exactly.
All right. Let me unmute Piper. I think that's the name. Please, I'm sorry if I don't get your name correctly. So Piper, you have the mic. Can you speak up?
Yeah, good morning.
Good
My
morning.
question on this ETL2, I think I missed that when you were explaining the ETL2. And also I wanted to ask, these things you are explaining now, is it that you are just explaining to us before we get into Power Query? Like we've not gotten into the Power Query, so it's just an explanation because I'm trying to look for it at the menu bar and
Yeah, it's
I'm not
it's an explanation. It's
okay,
an
okay. So but
explanation before moving there, so
please,
that when we get in there, we'll all be
okay,
able to follow along and understand it much better.
right. So the ETL2, I didn't get the ETL2. Your explanation on ETL2.
Okay. So for the ETL2, I said Power Query itself is an ETL2. And what does ETL2 mean? I said stands for extraction. The T stands for transformation, and then the L stands for loading. So extraction just allow you to connect to a data source wherever it is, right? Get in the data set, and then transformations helps you to clean up your data sets, which I made mention about removing duplicates. When you're doing cleaning of data set and transformations, you do a lot of stuff like removing duplicates, just ensuring that your data set is of a good quality, right? Then probably based on your specification that you have, it allows you to create extra columns, or it allows you to split your columns or add new columns. So all those cleaning and transformation would be done during the transformation process, then before loading it back to either Excel or Power BI. But presently, we'll be making mention of Excel. So when you get to Power BI, then the tutor will be taking you through the Power Query in Power BI, but still almost the same thing or the same thing. Do you get?
Yes,
Do you
thank,
get?
Piper, do you
thank
get it
you.
now? Hello?
Yeah.
All
So is
right.
there another question?
Yes, there is one more person,
Yes,
Zani.
Okay.
Let me unmute you.
yes,
Let
I
me
do.
unmute.
Thank you.
Let me unmute. There's one more person, I think.
Okay.
So, Zani, you have the mic. Hello, Zani. Please, if I'm not
Yes, I'm here.
pronouncing
Good
it, I'm
morning.
sorry. All right, good morning.
Zane, thank you. Good morning. Ms. Adibala, thank you very much. I don't have much to say. I just wanted to slow down a bit because of what happened last week, I've not been able to go to the recording, not to talk of attending the quiz. But the voice is not, it's somehow faster. The voice is faster than your screen. Hello?
Okay. So, Zani, I will try
Ma-
to reduce the pace of my voice, of the way I speak. I'll reduce it. But the way I'm speaking right now, is the pace okay?
Yes, it's okay like this, but when you're on your screen, your voice is always faster than the screen.
Okay, I'll try.
So that's all. You can continue.
Okay, so let's move directly into the Power BI, I mean Power Query rather. So for this session, we'll be working with different data sets. If you can see my screen, I have a data set already on my desktop, on my laptop desktop. I have orders table, I have calendar table, I have categories, I have customers, we have fact orders table, product table, region table, shippers table. In essence, let me just explain this. In a normal and typical company, right? You cannot work with just one data set or two. You have various data sets, and that is why we've brought in this. So this is like a sales data set. Let me say like a supermarket. In a supermarket, right? There are products, right, that are already in the inventory that you have. So let me say you have spaghetti, that's a product on its own. You have rice, that's a product on its own. So you have a table that stores all the products that we have in that supermarket. We have a table that stores it, and that's a product table. Then also we have orders table. So it's not everybody that comes into the store to buy something. And while some come into the store to buy, they are all inside the orders table. Because when you come to the supermarket, you get something from the what's it called? From their decks, and then you pay for it. So that transaction table, right, is this order table, fact orders table. And inside my fact orders table, I have 2021 order. The year 2021, all the orders that was made in 2021, I have it. In 2022, I have it separately. In 2023, I have it separately. Please, can you see my screen? The thumbs up is okay. So I have different orders, right, like that for different years in separate workbook. But as a data analyst, right, I need to bring all this data together, combine it together. So we'll not have 2021 table separately like that. So I want to combine these things together as just one that will help me. Apart from the orders table too, I also have customers table. So every customer that comes into my store, right, I have their customer ID, right? I have their customer details like that, their names or the likes. So that's a customer tables. Apart from that too, I also have a categories table, which is like a product categories table. We have products categories, product subcategory. So all those things too, it's already in another separate table. Then I have shippers table. So for those people that order online, hope I'm not too fast. For those people that order online, please, Busola, you can just unmute and tell me how.
No, your pace is okay. I can relate with you. I'm going through the chat also. You can continue. You can continue.
Want to,
I will bring
right?
your
And then I
attention to
also
it.
have
Yeah.
everything is fine.
Yes, yes. You can continue.
Okay. Yeah, so I also have my calendar table. So all these tables that you are seeing here that are long like this, we will use Power Query to bring them all inside and then transform it and then load it back to Excel. So that will be a major task for today. And then alongside, during my explanation, I can also give you all this data set, then you practice it at home and then transform it, load it back to Excel, and let's see how good and perfect you will be. Do you understand? So let's move on. So I want to connect now to all these data sources and then bring them to my Power Query. So we'll come to the data tab. Under data tab, we'll come to our get data. So we have from file. Majorly we'll be working with this file the most, and be it Excel workbook or text or CSV. And then you also have folder, and then we also have a folder too. You remember that our order table, right? We have 2021, 2022, 2023 inside just one folder. So rather than bringing it separately, we'll just click on folder and then bring everything as one. Do you understand? So let's start with let's start with text or CSV first. Oh, sorry. With text or CSV. So if I click text or CSV, it brings me to my data, where my data is. So you just have to locate it. Mine is in desktop. So I click on my desktop and look for it, right? It's inside Power Query. So I have my shippers, calendar, categories. And one thing is you cannot bring everything in at once. So you have to select it one after the other because you are not selecting from folder. Be it is from folder, I can just select a particular folder and then bring everything inside that folder. But it's not a folder. So I have to select it one after the other. Do we understand? So presently, let me bring in calendar and import my calendar. Can you see that it's connecting? You saw connecting to, right? And then after that, it shows you a preview of the calendar table. And you can see this calendar CSV delimiter because it's a CSV file. It's ensuring that you select the right delimiter. See, our CSV file is a comma separated. Sorry. So sorry. I picked my comma. And then this data type detection here, it just shows you that based on the first 200, but you can actually select based on the entire data set, but it's just for us to preview it. Let's just see what is inside our data set. So currently, it's just the date column that we have in here. You can see that we have a lot of transformation that will be done here. Not really a lot, but from this date, we can create extra things, right? Then if you come down below, you will see load, transform data, and then cancel. Can you all hear me? So you can see load, you can see transform data, and then you can see cancel. So this is like a preview. After preview, then you can either load it directly without transforming, right? So you can see here that you have load and then load to. So this load to is like creating a connection. If you don't want to load it to your Excel directly that you can view, maybe you just want to load it as a connection, then you click load to. But we're not doing that now, right? So we come to transformation because we need to do a lot of transformation in here. So when you click this transformation data, transform data, it brings you the Power Query. So in essence, what you're seeing here now is our Power Query. Please, are you with me? Because we are inside Power Query now. We've connected to the data set and it has brought us into Power Query interface. Do we get that? A thumbs up.
I can see thumbs ups.
Okay. Okay, we're saying we should do a quick recap. From where? From where, please? Hello? We should do a little bit of recap. Okay, just before okay, let me cancel this and start again. I'll have to discard. Yeah. So let's start again. I said we are getting our data set, right, from a text or CSV. So when you select from file, then from your text/CSV, it brings you to where your data set is. You just have to locate your data set on your desktop or where you have it, right? And then you ensure you pick just one of the files because you are not selecting folder. Adding be selecting file. So after selecting the one file and you import, it's create a connection and then show you a preview of how your data set looks like. After showing you how your data set looks like, you have two options. It's either for you to load it directly without transforming or you transform. My audio is breaking as well. Hey. Gusala, is my audio breaking? So we either load it or we transform the data set. So when we click on transform the data set, it loads you directly to the Power Query interface. And then you can now see the Power Query interface as this. So I will explain this interface for us. The first one is the Home tab. So under this Home tab, you have variety of things up here. You see that it's also looking like Excel. This pane here, it's almost looking like Excel, not like Excel. Then we have the transform, you have the add column, and then you have the view. So under your home, you have close and load, which I talked about after you've done your all transformations and the likes, you've done everything you want to do, then you can either close and load or close and load to connection. So this close and load to will allow you to load it into a connection, right? Or into a table. But if you just close and load, automatically it will load directly as a table for you in your Excel. Then we also have properties, advanced editor, and manage here. All these ones just allows you to check the name and description of your query. In here, we don't call it table again. You now call it query. So the data that you've loaded now inside here is no longer a table. You call it query. query list. It's just like a query list. So here, if I bring in another table, you see another query list. If I bring in another table, you see another query list. So this is called query list. This pane here that you're seeing, it is called a query list. Then still under your home tab, you can see your choose column, remove columns. Probably you just want to, if you're having like 20 columns of data and you just want like 10, right? You can come under your choose column and then you choose your column from here and select only the column that you would like to pick. Also, you can remove some columns that are not necessary. So if you have a column that you're not making use of, it is very essential for you to remove them. Then under this, we also have keep. See that you can do two and columns, remove columns or choose columns. If it is rows, you can keep rows or remove some rows. Please. Busola, please, I just need you to give me an update as I go on.
The network is bad. Yes, the network is bad.
Please
Yes,
just call
so
my
I don't know,
attention
maybe
to
it's
it.
from my own end or from your end. So that's why I've not been able to make any complaints. So the network is kind of bad.
Let me log out and log in back. Let
All
me
right.
log out and then log in back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, for long show. Okay, Adebola, you are back. I think she's back.
Okay, sorry, is Adebola and then
Yes, please, I'm here. I'm back.
Okay. You're welcome.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Oh, can anyone see my screen now? Okay, let's hope it is better. Please just let me know, Busola, as we go on. If there are any issues, just call my attention to it immediately.
All right.
Yeah. So as I said, we are loading all the data sets from this data set that we have in here, our calendar, categories, customer, orders, products, region, and shippers. So we are loading all those data in. And then we come to our data view, and under data view, we get data From the get data, under from file, we locate from text or CSV. So by clicking on this text or CSV, we have different CSV files. I think it's the same. We have our text or CSV files in here, and we can bring either of them here. So if we click on any of them and then import it, it's still not synchronizing.
You can move on.
Debola. Hello, Debola.
Yes, please.
You know what? Let me take over the class. Let me assist. All right. Let me see if my own network will be better.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did not prepare, but let me see what I can do here. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Busola, please let me know if you can hear me. And
I can hear you, Florence. Good morning.
okay. Yeah, good morning. Okay, so I'm coming. Let me, because I really don't know. It's just because of the comment that a quite number of people are giving that want to make me to assist, but so that it will not be a waste from from us and also from the participant as well. Okay, so let me. So please, a quite number of us are complaining that, the network is not good, but we can also check from our end. It's not only the facilitator network that is not good. So let us also check from our own end as well, please. Okay, let me share my screen and let's see. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Please confirm you can see my screen and you can hear me clearly. Hello.
I can see your screen, Florence. I can see some thumbs ups. People are thumbsing up, so they can see your screen too. I think that's a reaction.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I believe I won't really go back from the beginning. So I believe Debola already explained what Power Query is all about, right? So Power Query is mostly used for data cleaning and data transformation, right? So so you can, one of the case study that we have is that you can have the data in different location. You can have data in maybe a CSV file. You can have data in a database. You can have data maybe on your OneDrive, different sources, right? Can have data in different locations. So now you want to try to bring all these data together because you can actually use them to analyze data. This data are actually related in one way or the other. It's just that the sources of those data are in different location, right? So now how do you ensure that, okay, you're able to combine data that are in different location, they are in different sources together to ensure that you are able to analyze your data effectively? So Power Query is one of the tools that is always used to, even to automate tasks instead of doing it all over and over again. So we use Power Query to do our data transformation, right? So so one of the case studies that we'll be using is the global trader data that we'll be using to clean our data. So global trader is a is an international company that has data in different location, the calendar table, categories table, customer table, facts, product, region, and ship table. They have it in different sources. You can see that the calendar is a CSV file, the customer table is an Excel file, the fact order is in a database, the product table is in a web, we have the region in a CSV file. So you can even have, different data, even there is a data that is in a folder. So we want to see how we can bring all this data into Power Query using different data sources and all. Please, are you guys following? Can you guys hear me clearly? I hope I'm not too fast, and I hope the network is not a problem now. Please let me get our reaction. Okay, that's fine. All right, that's fine. Okay, so clearly, okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's move to Excel. So let's move to Excel. So now this is Excel, right? I believe. So I believe Debola have already shown you guys how you can bring in Power Pivot into your Excel interface in case you don't have it there already. So I won't go over it again now because time is not really by our side. There's a lot to do actually. Okay, so now this is the Excel interface, right? You can see, and you need to have oh, sorry, you're not even doing Power Pivot. So I thought it's Power Pivot you're doing, so I forgot. So for you to bring in data, you can see that this is a blank sheet. You can see this is a blank sheet. So if you click on data, you can see that you can get data from different sources. You can get data from Excel workbook, you can get data from database, from Azure, Power Platform, even from your Google Drive. You can get data from different data sources. You can see different data sources. You can get data from it. Can you see? So now that's what exactly we want to do. If you look at our case study, you will realize that this global trader, they have data in different sources, and we want to be able to bring those data in a single platform. And before we can even start analyzing the data, we need to first do what? To transform the data, to clean the data, right? So that's exactly what we are trying to achieve here. So now, so let's start connecting our data. Let's start connecting our data. So the first data is what? The first data is a CSV file, which is a calendar file. So let's connect the calendar. So I'll go to my Excel. So I'll click on get data. So because it's an Excel file, right? So now, we have different type of formats, document format. There is a CSV, there is an Excel workbook. And I believe that you guys understand that there's a difference between an Excel workbook and a CSV file. They are not the same thing. So you need to understand which one is which one. So CSV is just a single document, while Excel workbook contains multiple documents, right? So now let's click on text CSV, get data from text CSV. So we need to look for the location of our data. So let's locate our data. So I will go to my OneDrive, my local OneDrive, then go to Datakliq, Cohort 5, Power Query, Global Trader. So you can see the calendar data. Can you see this data? This is the calendar table. So I'll click on it and I'll click on import. So you can see the data that we want to ingest, which is our calendar table. You can see the data that we want to ingest. Now, there is two options when you want to extract your data. You can see the option of load and you can see the option of transform data. Can you see? So now when you click on load, that means that you are satisfied with the data you want to work with, meaning that the data doesn't have any issues, or you are not cleaning the data at the moment. You are satisfied with it. So you can click on load if the data is okay by you. But if you know that, oh, this data, I still want to do some data cleaning, data manipulation with it, or you want to do some, you want to have some, you want to enhance or enrich the data, so you can click on transform data. So when you click on transform data, this is going to take you to the Power Query. So this is going to take you to the Power Query, which I believe Adebola have already explained some of the interface to you guys earlier before I take over. Okay, so this is the Power Query interface. Now you will realize that I started the journey from the Excel interface. This is not Excel. What you are seeing here now is what is the Power Query. And Power Query is majorly used for what? For data cleaning, data transformation, data shaping. Please, are we following? Let me be sure that we are following. Are we following? Yes. Are we following? Who are the people that cannot see the screen again? Please let me know if you are following. Are we following? Okay.
There are reactions in the among the participants. There are thumbs ups and a lot of emojis.
Okay. All right. Okay. So it's fine. So let's continue then. Okay, so now this is the Power Query, right? And this is the Power Query interface. You can do a lot of data manipulation, data cleaning, append, enrich your data within it. Now, from the Power Query interface as well, you can also get in data, right? Like I said, there are data from different sources and different locations. So from the Power Query, when you click on the Home tab, you come to your right-hand side. You will see the new source. Can you see new source? New source. When you click on new source, you also see the option to bring in data from multiple data source, right? Like what? Like Excel workbook, CSV, databases, SQL Server, and all. Can you see? So you can bring in data from multiple, different data sources that you might have, right? Now, let's look at our data back. So the next data we are bringing is the customer data, which is coming, or let's say the category data, which is coming from the CSV file, right? It's also a CSV file. So let's click on new source. Then I'll click on file. It's a CSV file. So that is the category. Then I'll click on imports. So now you will not see the option to load and transform. So can someone tell us the reason why you won't see the option of load and transform here? Does anybody have an idea why the option of load and transform is no longer showing here? Can someone help us and tell us the reason why the options of load and transform is no longer showing?
Love, you have the mic. You have
can mute
unmuted.
people.
Yes, I've unmuted Love. Good morning. Love Chisholm. Okay, maybe I should move to the next person. I don't think Love is ready.
Okay, fine. All right, it's fine. You can drop his hand, so in case.
Yes. Nelson, you have the mic. Can you kindly speak, please? Nelson. I don't know.
Or you can drop your comment on let me check the chat box because it's just one file. I think let me see. Someone said because you already, yes, exactly. Thank you very much. I already got the answer that I want. Don't worry. Spare me, yeah, your answer is because you're already in the Power Query and you're trying to shape your data. Yeah. So because you're already in the Power Query interface already, so that is the reason why you are not seeing the option to load and transform again. So we already said that Power Query is a transformation tools already. So that's the reason. So Femi, thank you very much for that. Okay, so you can see, so this is our data, right? So now let's quickly, because of time, we need to, quickly rush as well. So let's look for the other data source that we need to pick our data from. So we are picking the next one from the customer, which is an Excel workbook. Can you see? It's an Excel workbook. So I will go back, and this time around, I'm going to click on File Excel workbook. I'm not going to click on CSV now because it's an Excel workbook. So customer, you will see that when I click on the Excel workbook, some of the other file that we are seeing before is no longer showing again. So this is an Excel workbook. Import. Okay, so I'll pick the table that I want, which is the customer table. Can you see? So then I'll click on OK. Okay, so this is the customer table. Now, the next one is what? Is part order. And this part order is coming from where? It's coming from a database. So you can see that this one is no longer coming from a CSV, and it's not coming from an Excel workbook. It's coming from where? From a database. So let me check if I have any data, if I have the data in my database. So I will connect to my SQL server. So maybe when you are trying your own, in case if you did not have database like this, don't bother yourself. Don't worry, our next class is SQL. So we'll definitely teach you how to use SQL and how you can connect Excel to database, or how you can connect Power BI to database in your subsequent class. So so we'll just connect. So let's say this orders table, we'll use this one as an example. So we'll connect this table. So let me query this table. So let's query the table. So so let me say select all from. So select all from ww. Okay. Before I do that, let me use this database. Okay. ww dot other details execute. So can you see the data? So can you see this data? So now you can see that this data is in a database. This is not a CSV file. This is not an Excel workbook. But we want to take this data directly from here into our Excel workbook using the Power Query, right? So there might be some issues with the data. Maybe you want to clean some of the columns, or you want to, add some, information. So now let's go back to our Power Query. So from Power Query, I'll click on New Source, and I'll click on Database. Can you see? Now we have different database: SQL Server, Access, Oracle, MySQL, Postgres. I know some of you guys know some of these databases. So for now, I'm using SQL Server, right? I'm using SQL Server. If you look at this, this is SQL Server. The database that I open now is called SQL Server. So I'm going to click on New Source, File, Database. I'll click on SQL Server. Then it's asking me for the server name, right? It's asking for the server name. So I'll come back here and I'll click on Connect Database Engine. Then I will come and copy the server name. I will put it here. So it's asking for database option. So this one is optional, but if you choose to put the database, it's fine. So let's put the database, but it's optional. So what's the database name? The database name is what? www.order. So this is the database name. Don't worry, when you start doing your SQL, you understand more about the database. So in case you are confused. So this is the database name. And so let me remove this one. I'll remove this one. Then let's click on OK. Okay, so you can see now, can you see? So this is the data from the database. Can you see that it is exactly the way it is in the database as well? So let's click on OK. So you can see now that we are bringing data from different sources. Can you see? Different data sources, right? So you can see, and this is exactly how the data look in our database as well. Can you see? Okay, so so that is that. So the next one, because of time, I don't want to so let's look at web. Like web, if you have the data on your OneDrive, or you have it on your Google Drive, you're on web, right? So how can you get data from OneDrive? So I will go to Chrome. So let me go to Chrome. I'll go to Chrome. Let me click on Datakliq. I'll go to my OneDrive, Please, can you guys confirm you can see my screen as well? Please confirm you can see my screen, and please can you confirm you can see my screen, and you can also
I can see your screen.
Okay.
There are some reactions. Yes.
All right. Okay, good. Okay, so I'll go to my OneDrive. So let me go to my OneDrive. So OneDrive is just like your, just like your iCloud for people that are using iPhone. It's just like your iCloud for people that are using Android. It's just like your Google Drive, right? Google Drive is like what is a storage on the cloud. In case if you lost your phone, you can always have a copy of it on the cloud. When you log into your account, you can retrieve all your data back. So OneDrive is also like a cloud storage, right? It's the same, it's almost the same thing. It's just different name. So your OneDrive is like your online cloud storage that you can store data inside it, right? So now I'll go to my file. I'll go to my file. So I'll go to data. If you observe that this same Datakliq is also what I have on my local system, is because I sync both my OneDrive into my local system together. So you can have it on your local device, on your laptop as offline data, and you can also have it as online data. So I'll click on Datakliq. Then I'll go to Cohort 5 material. I'll go to where the data is, which is Global Trader. So this particular table, product table, can you see this product table? So we want to connect this product table from my OneDrive, right? I want to connect it directly into Excel. So I want to connect it directly into Excel. So if I open this file, on the OneDrive, like on the cloud, so you can see the way the data is. You can even see that the data is kind of messy, is not clean, right? So you can see the data. So now I want to ingest this data or extract this data into my Excel workbook. So I'll click on these three ellipses here. I'll click here. Then I'll scroll down and go to details. I'll go to details and I'll scroll down here. I don't know. So let me do this thing again because I think something messed up here. So click on these three dots here, then scroll down, then go to details. So when you go to details, you scroll down, you will see parts. Can you see these parts? So copy this part, copy the parts, then go back to your Excel on your system, then go to your new source. Click on online. Is it online? Other source, other source. So you click on web. Can you see? Click on web. So you click on web, then paste the URL there. Can you see the URL? So paste the URL, then click on OK. So when you click on OK, you'll be able to see the files. So it's asking me for credential. It's going to ask you for credential because this is a file. This is a file that is in my organization account. So it's going to ask me for my credential. I'll click on organization account. You are signed in already. Connect. So let's click on. You already signed in. Currently, there's sign in. Sign in as a different user. Okay, so let me sign in as a different user. Okay, so you're going to ask me to pick account. So I'm going to pick the Datakliq account, which is this one. You are currently signing, then I'll click on connect. So so you can, let's try and check the data. Okay, so this is the one, table one. Then I'll click on OK. So I'll click on OK. So you can rename this one as what? As products, so that's not to confuse ourselves. So just rename it as products. So you can see now products, and so you can see that we are able to ingest this data also from the web or from a Google Sheet or from OneDrive as well. So because of time, I'll only do one more for us. I might have to leave the rest. Okay. So let's do the region and the folder part. How to use a folder to extract. We might leave the shipper one. We might leave the shipper. So let's do the region and the folder. So I'll go back to my Excel, and so let's ingest this one is from CSV. So this is a CSV file. Data file CSV. So that is this one, and I'll click on import. Okay, so let's ingest this one. Okay, so the last one we're going to be ingesting is the one with the folder part. So let's ingest the one with the folder part. So I'll click on new source. I'll click on folder. Now, let me explain something. Before you can ingest data with the folder part, the data you are ingesting in that folder must have the same headers. Hello? The data you want to merge together, you want to use the folder part to bring in, must have what? Must have the same information, the same column or the same structure. So let me show you guys so that you understand. Let me close some of these tabs. Okay, so let me close this one. Okay. Upload plus. Okay, I understand. Okay, so so let's go back. So like I said, if you want to bring in data from a folder part, the folder you are bringing the data from. For example, now I have a data for 2021. I also have a data for 2022. So because I understand that when I want to analyze this data, I don't have to split these two tables in different, I can combine them together, right? So that is the essence of using the folder part. But what I'm saying is that for you to use a folder part to bring in data into Excel or using Power Query, the data must be in the same structure. So when I say structure, what did I mean by structure? So let's open the data individually. So I can't still open this. Wow.
Sorry, so far the Power Query is on. You'll not be able to open any other Excel.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Debola. Yeah. Okay, so okay, it's fine. But what I just want to say is that for example, there where I can just let me just demonstrate it in one of these table. Okay, so let me just demonstrate it here. I hope this will not even take time. Okay. I don't know. It's taking time, but maybe I will show you guys later, because what I just want you guys to understand what I mean by the table structure must be in the same thing, must have the same structure before you can use the folder part. So I will just click on the new source and I'll go to folder. I'll click on folder, then I'll click on these others, then I'll click on open. So now you can see that here now we have two options, which is combine and transform data, and we also have transform data. So the reason why we have these two options at this moment is because of the folder parts that we are using. Assuming that we are just using the other part, like the CSV database, we will not see these two options given to us again. Because at this point, Power Query wants to understand what exactly we want to do. Is it that we want to combine the data and go to transform data directly, or we want to just take the data and go and transform it ourselves? So that is the purpose of we seeing these two options again. So combine and transform data is going to be done automatically. The transformation is going to be done automatically. The combination is going to be done automatically for us. Why transform data will mean that we'll be the one to do it ourselves. So let me use the transform data so that we can even see what exactly we want to combine together first. So I'll click on transform data. So now you can see that we have two data, which is 2021 and 2022. These are two tables in different, these are two files, two CSV files. Now, like I said, before you can use a folder path, these two data, they must have the same structure. What I mean by structure is that the column names must be the same. If you have maybe transaction date in 2021, the way you spell the transaction dates must also be the same spelling in 2022 table as well. If the spelling is not the same, you will have an error. It's going to be throwing an error for you because you want to combine the two tables together, right? So you must make sure that the structure of the first folder is also the same thing with the second folder, the second table, or the second file. And it doesn't mean that you can only combine two tables together. No, you can combine up to 10, any amount of tables. The only condition there is that the data structure must be the same. Do you understand? Please, let me get our feedback. Are we following? Are we following? Let me get our reaction. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, good. So the table structure must be what? Must be the same. Now, how do we now combine this table together? So you see this one, this first column that says content. So click on this icon here. So click on it to expand. We want to expand the content inside it. So you can see specify the settings of each of these. So the only thing we just need to do is just to see how the table is, right? So let's click on OK. So when you click on OK, it's going to help us to combine the two data together now. So you can see, we can see our data now has been combined. If you click on the other dates, so if you click on this other date, you'll see that if you do sorting in descending order, you will start seeing dates from 2022. So you can see that the two information has been combined together. So that is the purpose of using the folder path. So now we can decide to delete this particular column because we don't need it again. We can remove it. Okay, so I think our data is fine now. Okay, so basically we will be working with just these tables that we have brought in, right? So I think these are enough. These are enough. Okay, so let's start with the customer table. Start with the customer table or anyone. Now, I don't know if Adebola have already explained to you the different tabs that we have within the Power Query. Has she explained those to us? Has she explained the different tabs that we have here? Okay, she has explained it, right? Is that a yes? No. It's only one person that said no. So I won't go with one person answer unless I get more response. So as she explained, okay, no. Okay, so not at all. Okay, it's fine, no problem. So we have different tabs, the home tab, the transform tab, the hard column tabs, and the view tabs, right? So the transform tabs is what you use to do your transformation so we use it to do transformation on the spot. When you want to do a transformation that you don't have to create an additional columns, you use your what? You use your transform tab. So let's quickly do an example. So let's go to the calendar table. So this will be a perfect example for us to understand the transform tabs and the hard column tabs. Now, the hard column tabs is mostly used when you want to create a new column, right? You want to create an additional column, so you use your hard column tabs to do that. While when you want to do a transformation on the spot, you are not creating additional columns, you use the transform tabs to do that. So for example, now let's assume that I said, so I said Zainab, or let's say Innocent. Okay, I say, okay, please, can you help me I want to add maybe the month number or the day year or the day name of this. I want you to add more information to this calendar table. How do you do that? So because you know that the information is to add more information, right? To add more information to this one, you go to the hard column tabs to do that. You go to the hard columns. So if you click on this date now, and I go to date, and I said, maybe I want to see month, name of month. So you can see that we have name of month. Can you see? Now, let's say that I want to get name of month, and I go to transform tab, and I go to date, and I click on month, and I say name of month. See what is going to happen. Can you see what happened? The transformation I did happened on that same spot. And it has changed the direction. It has even changed what is inside this column itself entirely. It has changed it from what? From date to To a text. It has changed the nature of everything here from a date to a text. So that's why you need to understand when to use. See, it's not just that the transform tabs and the hard column tab, they are just there for you just for fashion. They have different things that they are using them for, and they serve different purposes. Even though they might look alike, that, maybe what you are saying on the transform tab also appears in the hard column tab, but in terms of functionality or what they are doing is not the same thing. Please, are we getting that? I hope that is clear. So please, let's ensure that we use the right tools to transform our data. Now, in Power Query, there's nothing like Control Z, but you can always go back to your previous steps. So that's why we have the query settings. In your own Excel, maybe you are not seeing these query settings. Maybe you are not seeing the query settings. You cannot see the apply step in your own Excel. So just go to the view tabs at the top. So you will see that, let me disable. You can see that in my home now, I don't have the query settings again. I don't have the apply step. So just click on the query settings under your view tabs. So it will show up. Now to go back to my previous steps, you will see apply step. So I will just click on this cancel icon here. I'll click on cancel. Then it will take me back to my previous step. There's nothing like Control Z in Power Query. So you also need to be mindful of what you are doing. So it will take us back to this page. So what I actually want to do is to click on add column and add some other date information that I actually need, like name of month. So if I want to create another one, I'll click on date, then go to this, let's say week, day name. Maybe I want the name of the day, so you can see. So you can keep on adding more information like that. But the most important thing is that you need to know when to use the hard column and when to use the transform tabs when you are, cleaning your data. Okay, so let's quickly go to customer table. So in this customer table, so one of the things that you will realize here is that we don't have columns headers, right? You see that in our columns headers, we have column 1, column 2, column 3, and this is not proper. Our table need to be properly defined. We need to understand our data properly. If not, it will be difficult for us to analyze this data. Or if I say, what is column 1? What is column 1? Do you understand what column 1 is? No. What is column 2? Do you understand what column 2 is? No. So we need to have a proper data definition or table definition or field definition, right? So what do we do here is to ensure that we promote our headers. You see this first column, we need to promote it as our headers so that our table will be more meaningful to us when we are analyzing it. So I'll go to my home tab, so under the home tab, I will go to, you see there's an option called use first row as headers. Can you see? Use first row as headers. So I'll click on use first row as headers. So can you see it has promoted the first row as headers, and we now have customer ID, first name, last name, contact title, address. So you can see that we have all this information, and now we are able to understand our data properly now. So you can see. So in this table too, you can see that some of the data are also probably not clean, right? And how do you know when your data is not clean? How do you know if there is a problem with your data? So there is a tool called data profiling in Power Query, right? So we have a tool called data profiling in Power Query. So if you go to your view tab, you will see that we have column distribution, column profile, column quality. So at this moment, the only thing that I check here is if I uncheck this column quality, you will see that I don't have any profiling based on my columns again. So if I click on column quality, now it's going to show me, oh, this one is 100%, meaning that there's no error, there's no empty. You can see all of them. But if you go to some columns, like this particular one, like let's say this facts column, it's showing you that valid is what, 76%, empty is what, 24%, because there are some rows that what, the information is no longer there. Like you can see this one, null, 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 right? And I think there's still some other information like that, like I think region. I think I saw region. I think I saw region column and that has some. Okay, but let's move on. Now, what do you do with information like null, right? Some people will tell you that, oh, you should remove null, right? Some people will tell you that you should do this, you should do that whenever you are, you want to replace. Now, one thing about removing information is that you don't just remove information anyhow, right? You don't just remove information unless you understand if you don't understand what you are doing. So one of the things that I always say is that you should always ask questions. If you are working in a real organization, right? If you are working with a real organization, you will have different stakeholders you are working with. You can have project managers, you have business that you are speaking with. So if there is a particular information that is not given to you, you can go back and ask. Maybe this particular facts, you want to fill in the information. I know some people will tell you that maybe I think majority of people that are doing data science, they will tell you that replace null value with mean, or you should replace it with average or median, right? But it is not applicable to all data that you come and replace it. Okay, if I say that we should replace this information, how do we want to replace it? Do we want to replace it with mean, when the numbers here are not even it's like this is like more of like a maybe phone number, or you understand something? So it's like a phone number. How do we want to replace this? Are we going to replace it with mean? So if the information is not clear, you can go back to your stakeholder. Okay, can we get the information of these people? If their information cannot be gotten, right, you can probably just replace them with maybe undefined, or put them as NA. You understand? So that everything you will not have a blank here. So in a case like this, maybe we don't know what all these phone numbers are. You can just use your replace value and probably just say let's call it unknown. So let's say unknown. So you click on OK, and it's going to replace everything. And you can see that in terms of your valid now, we now have what, 100%. Now we are not losing any data because we did not we did not remove any information. If probably tomorrow we know the information of this person, we can come back and replace this information for this particular person. You understand? We don't just remove data anyhow. Please don't be among those people that will just, because they say it is null, you just remove nulls like that. Don't, because the moment you are removing data, you are losing the integrity of your analysis. Do you understand? So we are losing the integrity of our analysis. So you need to understand what you are doing. Maybe when you are trying with practical data, you can do all those sort of things. But when you are working with a real data, you need to be accountable for what you are doing, right? So this particular region, can you see? Let's see. You can see that we have different abbreviations. We don't even understand some of these things. So in this case, I will advise, because of this analysis, we might not necessarily need to use this information, this region. Now, I'm not saying that it is proper to remove a column or not, but if that column is not going to benefit your analysis, you don't have to keep it. You can remove it. And you can see that in this column now, we don't have, okay, so I think we have a column called city, right? There's a column called city, and there's a column called address. But when it comes to the region, what we have here is just like, is like maybe an abbreviation of or whatever. But the information here are not clear enough. So it's better for us to just remove this information. Now, if I remove a column, it does not reduce my data integrity. Why? Because I am not removing the information on a row basis. Hello, sorry, can you guys still hear me? I think I'm having a network issue.
I can hear you.
Okay, sorry guys, please can you confirm you can hear me? I think
I can
please,
hear you from my hand.
okay.
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, I think someone's hand is up. So let's entertain one or two questions before I proceed. So I think two
Okay.
people hands are up.
Okay. Piper, you have the mic. If you want to talk, you can talk now.
Or if you have questions, you can, before I
You can drop
proceed.
it in chat box. Okay.
Why?
Piper. Okay.
Actually, I don't that how you replaced the null with unknown. I didn't see the step. I didn't see how you did it. I just saw the null change to unknown. I don't know where you clicked.
Okay, is that the question?
Yes.
Okay, it's fine, no problem. Okay, so I'll take a step back to redo that. Please, can you see my screen? Let me confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen. Yes,
Okay,
I can see it.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so how I replace the null is just where is it? Okay, so I'll go to my apply step. I will go back. So let's click on, let me click back here. So this is the columns, right? So what I did is just that I right click and I click on replace value. Then I click on unknown. So then I click on OK. So this changed everything. So that is how I replace the value. Exactly. Piper. How does the proper pronunciation of your name? Okay. So that is that. So for the region, like I said, what I would do here is just to remove it. So, and I said that removing it does not reduce our data quality because we are not removing the information on a row basis. What we just remove is the column. So when you are removing columns, it doesn't reduce your data integrity. The only thing is just that if you would probably need the column back, there's a way you can always bring in that column back to your data. So that is that. So you can see there are so many data cleaning that we need to do with this data. You can see that in this company name, we have a question mark in front of their name, and this is not supposed to be, right? So if you want to remove the question mark, you can also right click and click on replace value. So what are we looking for? We are looking for question mark, replace with what? So we are not replacing, we will not put anything here. Just click on OK. So you can see that all the question marks has disappeared. So these are things that you can also do. When you are cleaning your data, you can clean it. You can even see in the country columns, we have Germany and we have some code beside it, and which is not proper. So what we can do here as well is to probably we can split this. So let's go to transform and go to, or we can even, let's use extract. So extract what? Text before delimiter. So let's use text before delimiter. So what is our delimiter here? So who can tell us what's our delimiter in this country code? So what is our delimiter? Who can tell us? There you're from. Someone says please.
The slash.
The slash. Okay, yeah, good. Okay, so the slash, that is the delimiter. So I'll just put the delimiter here, then I'll click on OK. So you can see now that we have removed those numbers at the back of the country columns. Okay, so that is that. Then you can see that some of these country names are not properly spelled, like Mexico, France. So you can also probably use your replace value to replace, let's say this is France. So you need to make sure that your data are correct. Mexico is also not properly Mexico. So okay, so that is that. So because of time, our time is fast spent. So let's quickly do some other transformation. So let's go to the so now if you look at this table, I think I saw a question earlier on. I thought I think I saw a question that I will meet. Someone said, what if the first row is not the right name for the column header? What if the first row, if the first row is not the right column, then rename it properly. You definitely need to find a way to do that if it is not. Okay, so now we have this categories table. So I want someone to tell me something is wrong with this table. So what are the things that we need to fix in this table? Something is wrong. So what are the things that we need to fix? So I need the feedback from us. So looking at this table, is it in a proper way? So what are the things that we need to fix here? So I need the feedback from us. Okay, I think some hands are up. You can also drop your suggestion as well. Okay. Someone said transpose. I think you will write
Nancy,
the
you can
name.
speak. You have the mic with you. And also Dada.
The header.
Hello.
Okay, that's fine. So don't worry. Let's go with it because of time. So let's just go with the comment. So first is that I think quite a number of people have made a nice suggestion. So the headers first, then we also need to transpose as well. So we need to transpose and well. Okay, so the header first. So let's promote the headers. So I'll go to home and let's promote use first row as headers. So we need to first promote that. Now, the next thing we need to do here is to transpose this data because these data are not in the right. So this is what they call horizontal, right? When you are talking about horizontal data, I'm very sure that they have taught you guys HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. So a normal data supposed to be in what? In a vertical structure, right? Supposed to be in vertical. But what we have at the moment is called what? Is in horizontal, right? So we need to structure it in a vertical. So what do we do is to transpose this data. So when you go to your transform tab, so just You don't need to do anything here. Just click on your, maybe the first column, then click on transpose. Sorry, I think I made a mistake. Before I promote the header, I need to do, so before I promote the headers, let's do the transpose before I promote the headers. So let's transpose, yeah. So now, after transposing now, so we can now promote the headers. So the first thing to do is to transpose, then after transposing, then we now promote the headers. So I'll go back home, then I will use first row as headers. So you can now see that the data is now in proper, you can read many to what we have. This is the category ID, category name, description, so you can see. So so this is more better now. It's in more proper structure. Now let's go to products because of time. Okay, so let's go to products. So this is our product table. Also like now one thing, please and please, let me say this, please and please. Whenever you are doing transformation in Power Query, the first thing that you should always do is to make sure that your profiling is based on the entire data set. Most of the time, you might be profiling your data based on the top 1,000, and you will not know that there are still some errors hidden because what you are looking at is just the first 1,000. You are not looking at the entire data set. So always ensure that your data are profiled based on the entire data set and not just on the top 1,000. Do you understand? So now I'll click on profiling based on the entire data set. Make sure that all the data is being profiled, right? So, so that is that. So just like I said, now if you look at this data now, you will see that we have in our product ID, we have 95% valid, and some information that are also not available here. Now, I told you earlier that you should not remove information just anyhow. But maybe because of my own experience, right? Because of my experience now, I know when I can remove a certain information and I know when I cannot remove a certain information. Do you understand? Now, if you look at this table, this is a product table, and this table is called, I'm sorry, can you guys still hear me? Or can you see my screen? Please, can you still hear me and can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, Piper.
Yes, we can
Okay,
still hear you.
good.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So now, like I said, I told you earlier that you don't just remove information just anyhow, right? Now, you need to understand some concepts. We have what they call a dimension table, and we have what they call a fact table. Probably when you get to Power BI, or maybe during your SQL, right, you will be introduced to what a dimension table is and what a fact table are, right? So now, if you look at whenever you are removing information, one of the things that is important is that you need to look at the ID, the key, what we call something a primary key or a foreign key, right? Now, in this table now, we have our primary key. And our primary key here is what? Is the product ID, right? Is the product ID. Product ID is our primary key. Now, in a primary key is a kind of key that it has to be unique. What did I say? A primary key has to be what? Has to be unique because it's a unique identifier. So is representing particular information that might belong to another table. Do you understand? So you can say that if you look at this, okay, so let me use the customer table for an example. If you look at this customer ID, right? Now, if I filter this customer, so let me filter this first customer now. You will say that the information of this customer is just one information. You can see that we don't have a duplicate information of this customer. You can say Maria Anders, just like the way everybody on this call is. You guys have your first name and last name. Now, if I'm going to ask you, right? Two people can be bearing Piper on this call. Am I right? Two people can be bearing Piper on this call, or two people can be bearing Innocent on this call. Am I right? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, good. Now, if I want to identify who is Piper A or who is Piper B, can anybody tell me what I can use to identify individual person on this call? What can I use to identify each person on this call? What can I use to identify each person? ID. Okay. So someone says surname, someone say ID. Okay. Unique identifier. Okay. So now, if you know, well, the person that said surname, it is still possible that the people that are bearing Piper can still be having the same surname. Do you understand? It is still possible. The only thing I can use to differentiate, is the student ID. Do you understand? Is the student ID, because the student ID is the unique. Now, if you look at this, data here now, so okay, let me even unfilter this. Let's unfilter this. Let's clear the filter. And let me say, I want to use, let's say I want to use, let's say Alexander. So let's say I want to use Alexander and I click on OK. Okay, we have one Alexander here, which is fine. Let me see. We might not really have duplicate. Okay, most of all these one they are unique. But in a scenario where you have you have multiple names, the first name and the last name can be the same. It is possible. It's in a system where you have more data, it is possible. The chances that the first name and the last name is going to be the same is very, very realistic. You understand? But the only thing that will differentiate the two people is the surname. Sorry, is the student ID. Do you understand? Is the student ID, and that's why you see that when you guys are joining, I don't need anybody. If I want to ask for anybody information, the only thing that I'm interested in is your student ID. Once you give me your student ID, I can go and retrieve your information. Do you understand? All your information, I can retrieve it. So that is what this ID, that's why the ID is very, very important. And that's what we call what? A primary key. A primary key is what? Is a unique identifier. Now, if you look at this column and I go to view and I go to column distribution, you will see that the customer ID here is what? Is unique. 91 distinct, 91 unique. So in any table that is called a dimension table, your primary key there must be what? Must be unique. What did I say? There's a difference between unique and distinct. Your primary key here must be what? Must be unique. I don't know. Can anybody help us with the difference? Maybe you can define what unique is and what distinct is. Can someone help us? Does anybody know the difference between unique and distinct? Anyone? What's the difference between unique and distinct? Nelson, you can go on. Okay, so not just to waste our time, please, because of the time is fast spent. We have just 10 minutes more. So let's you can just drop your this thing on the chat so that others can learn from that. So you need to understand what's different between distinct and unique is. So let's quickly move on. So now you can say that in this table now, which is our product table, we have, like I said, in a column that is called a primary key, it must not have what? A distinct. What we must have is what? Is a unique value, right? What we must have is what? Is a unique value. Now you say that this, if I should filter, let's say I filter by null here, this information is nothing. If I say that product ID is null, who is this person? I don't know. Product name, I don't know the name of the person. Now, the information here is what? It's not doing anything here. We have to remove it. Even though it has supplier ID, it has some other information, right? The fact that we cannot pinpoint this information to a particular person or an ID, the information is irrelevant at this point, because I cannot identify who this information is going to also. So it is irrelevant here. It is not relevant to us in our analysis. And because we are removing it does not even reduce our data integrity or data quality. Do you understand? So in this type of scenario, we definitely need to remove this information. And how do you remove information like this? So I'll go to my home, then I'll go to transform, I'll go to where is remove? I think it's under the home. Okay, so remove rows. Remove rows. So how do we remove these rows? So let's click on alternate rows. So first row to remove. So the first row to remove is row 9. That's the first row to remove. Number of rows to remove. We are removing 4 rows. Number of rows to keep. So we have how many information here? Number of rows to keep should be 81 minus 4 should give us 77, right? Am I right? So that should give us 77. So so let's click on OK. So you can see now that our product ID now is what is unique. We don't have any null value again there. So now that helps us to filter all unnecessary column. Now you see that in our unit price, we still have 1% empty. You can see there is 1% empty. There's still a particular column, a particular information that is what is a null. Now, in this type, how do we fix this? Are we going to remove it as well? No, we cannot remove this one. The reason why we cannot remove it is because we have an information, we know there is a product ID for it. It might just be that maybe when they are doing the data entry, you understand, the person that is filling this information did not remember to put in the price, the unit price. Now, it's because of time. I should have actually followed the slide, because there's no time. So I'm sure that there's the, so you can see, replace unit price of product ID 74 with 10. Can you see? So that is what they say we should replace it with. So because of time, so we have to replace this one with, we have to replace it with 10. So I'm going to say replace value. So I'll replace with 10. Now, please don't do replace when the information you want to fill. For example, now let's say that you have null here, you have null here, you have null here, and you want to do a replace. Don't do a replace like this, because you're not going to get the right value, because you're not telling me that the price of product ID 74 is the same price with product ID 76. You understand? So there should be another way you can fix that. But because in my scenario here, the only thing I want to replace is just one value. That is why I'm going to be using the replace value here. So I will just click on 10, then I'll click on OK. So that will fix that particular issue. Okay, so so the last thing I will do here is so let's quickly look at this last one, then we'll call it a day. So now we have this table. Now let's assume that I want to analyze this data. And what I want to analyze is, I want to say, okay, maybe your boss said that, Innocent or Chisom or whoever, that, oh, please, can you help me to analyze this data? I want to know the region or the country that has the highest quantity sales. And I want to see a chart, maybe like a kind of bar chart that shows country with highest quantity sales. How do you analyze that kind of data? So because this data is not like is in a bar structure, but the way this data is, you might not be able to achieve that effectively. What did I say? You might not be able to achieve that effectively because this data are just in different columns. You understand? The countries are in different columns. So what you need to do here is to unpivot. So what we need to do here is what? Is to unpivot our data. So we need to unpivot this data. So what I will do is that I will pick this region ID and the region here. Then I will right click and I will say unpivot other columns. So can you see? Now I'm going to call this one country and I'll call this one unit sold. Unit sold. So now if I want to analyze, I want to see, which country has the highest sale, it is easier for me to analyze like this. And if I want to see the region with highest sales, it's also easier for me to analyze like this as well. So, so this is how to unpivot. Because of time, there are so many ways so many things you can still do within the Power Query, for your data transformation and all. But this is where we are going to stop today. Now, when you are done, this is where we are going to stop today. Yeah, but you can also explore, or maybe what I will do is that I will refer you to the last cohort videos so that you can watch. I think I was the one that took the last cohort as well. So if you start watching it from the beginning, you'll have a better understanding of what we have been talking about as well. So, okay, so now when you are done with your data cleaning in Power Query, right? So now the next thing is now for us to load the data into Excel. This is what? Power Query. This is not Excel. So once you are done cleaning the data within here, you will now need to load the data into what? Into Excel. Now, if I click on close and load, so click on close and load, it will now take all the data that we have cleaned to take them into Excel for us. So can you see? So it will take all the data into Excel. It's still loading. Okay, so you can see this is the region. Can you see the region that we just unpivot? You see the products that we remove some not from, the orders table, customer table. You can see category that we did, So you can now see all the table, the calendar table that we create a new column for it. Can you see? So you can see all the columns now. Can you see? So you can see all the transformed data that we have transformed. So now you will ask a question that why Power Query? Why are we going through all the stress that we are going through? Now, the reason why we are going through all the stress is because of automation. Now, if there is a new data in our data source, you don't need to even start doing all the transformation all over again. What you just need to come and do is to come and refresh your data. When you refresh data here, your new data is going to show up here. So you don't need to go and start cleaning your data all over from the beginning, doing all the processing all over. You don't need to do that. The only thing you just need to do is to come and click on refresh, and all your tables, all your information here is going to refresh, and you can start analyzing your data, the way you want it to. You understand? So that is what Power Query is majorly used for data cleaning, data transformation, data enrichment and all. So if there is any question, because of time, I don't want us to exceed 12 p.m. So if is any question you would like to ask, please kindly ask your question then before we call it a day. So please, if you have any question, can you time for questions? Okay. Busala, if there's questions, you can let me know.
Okay. There are no questions for now. Nobody is raising up their hands. Maybe if they have any question, maybe they can drop it in Discord. But there's no, I can't see anybody, I can't see anybody raising up their hands to signify that they have questions. So I think they're okay. I think that's my own thought.
Okay, I think Busala, some people hands are up, like 2 people hands are up. We just said,
Okay.
Let's hear from those 2 people.
Okay, let me unmute. Okay, so Oluyemi, you have the mic. You can ask your question.
What I want to ask is it possible for us to also use the Power Query to analyze our data instead of loading it again?
Okay. So they don't use Power Query to analyze data. They only use Power Query to it's more of like a data, just to how will I say it? It's more of like a descriptive stuff. Like you want to quickly check your data before you go and analyze it. So you can't use it for analysis, for analyzing data. You just use it to preview your data, how your data is going to be before you start analyzing it. So it's like a blueprint, or a preview of your data before you start analyzing the data. So you can't use for analysis, analyzing data. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, Emmanuel and Ifeanyi, please, you can go on with your questions. So please, you can
Good
go on with your
morning.
question. Yeah, good morning.
Okay. My question is it possible to, after we've done the close and load, is it possible to go back to Power Query again?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that's possible. Let me quickly show you that. It's possible. So once you're on your Power BI, sorry, I said Power BI. Once you're on your Excel and you want to go back to Power Query, so you can where is the option to go back? Let me see. Connection properties. No. Data. Okay, so to go to your data tab, get data. No, it's not. Okay, queries and connection. Okay, yeah. So once you get to data, click on queries and connection, then you can come here, just come and hover it here. Then you see edit. So you see this edit. So click on edit. So this will take you back to Power Query. Is that fine?
Yes, thank you.
Right. Okay. So click on upload. It will take you back to Excel. Okay. Any other question? Emmanuel, mic is on. Roots.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me now?
Emmanuel, please. Yeah, please go on, Emmanuel.
Yeah, the question I want to ask, is there this a Power Query? Because when the class started, due to network, I could not get how to actually launch the Power Query. I tried using my Excel, I could not get it. So I want to know, is there a way we install it, or does it come with the Excel? I don't know if you understand my question.
Yeah, I totally understand. So depending on the version of the Excel you are using, so I think from 2016 upward should have Power Query. I'm not sure if 2013 have it, but from 2016 upward should have Power Query. So what I would do is that I'm going to refer you guys to the previous cohort video. So I think I'm the one that took the class, so I remember. So there's a step, I think there is a step on how to achieve that. So by the time you guys watch that video, you should be able to get the steps in case you missed it. Okay, Roots, you can go on. Roots, please go on with your
Hello.
questions. Yeah, hello.
Okay. Thank you for the class. But I wanted to ask that is it compulsory, or can we use, like, for every data set, do we have to use Power Query to clean it, or we can just clean it like using Excel, the manual way? I just wanted to know, like, what makes Power Query different when it comes to cleaning as a cleaning tool, and what's like the difference between cleaning with Power Query and just
manually cleaning on Excel?
Okay, so yeah, that's a very nice question. I think towards the last, I said the reason why Power Query is more effective is because of the automation. So you don't have to be doing a task all over again. So for example, now, let's assume that there is a data root. There's a data that your boss usually give you every month to work with. Every month, you used to work with a data, and the data is in the same structure every month. So do you prefer to be doing the tasks every month, or you prefer to just do it once? And when the data comes in next month, you don't have to do all the whole cleaning all over again. Which one do you prefer?
I'll prefer just automating my work so I don't have to do the cleaning all
Exactly,
over again.
exactly. So the purpose of using Power Query is for automation, so that you don't have to repeat the same tasks that you did, last month in
Yeah.
another month again. Yeah. So that's the purpose of the Power Query.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Chiamaka. I think that will be this will be the last question. Okay, I think
Thank
Oluwa
you.
Melaya as well. Okay.
My question is, you mentioned that if you have a case of more than one null on a column, that there is a different way to fix that so that you don't get to put same replace both nulls when they're supposed to be a different value, when they're supposed to be different values rather. Please, can you
Yeah.
just quickly let us know that other way you said that there is?
Oh, I won't be able to do that actually, because it's a long process. You understand? And time is not by our side. But you can reach out to me maybe after the class. Maybe if I have time, I can look at that with you. Yeah. But I can't do that on
Okay.
this call. Yeah, it's a long process. Okay. So Fumilayo, I think your question will be the last for today. Please go on, Fumilayo. Fumilayo, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes,
you.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Okay,
hear you.
please. I want to ask I have Excel 2007 on my system, and I know it can't work with Power Query. So, can I delete? Can I uninstall and get a software that is Excel 2016 and install it back? Will it work on a Windows
Yeah,
10?
sure. Just go to Cyber Cafe and tell them you want to.
Hello?
You don't even. Can you hear me?
Hello,
Hello,
can
can
you
you
hear
hear me?
me?
Yes, I can hear you, Fumilayo. I can hear you. So you can go to Cyber Cafe and tell them you want to install the latest Office 365. You understand? So you might not even necessarily need to install 2016. It can be 2019 or 2021. You don't have to do 2016 version, because those 2021 have more updates than 2016. So definitely you can uninstall the one on your system and install the latest one. Yeah.
Okay, in a situation where
Um,
I don't have cyber cafe within this,
you know what Cyber Cafe?
which
Are you
other
staying in the
option?
village? I don't know. The other option is that you can if you have the
Sorry, I can't hear
capacity.
you.
I said the only other option is if you have the capacity,
Hello.
you can. That will be your network. Can I hear me? But anyway, if you can hear me, what I said is that the only other alternative is to buy a license. You can buy
Hello.
Office 365 license. I think you are struggling to hear me. Okay, it's fine. You can reach out to me later on, maybe on Discord, then I'll give you
I didn't get it.
information on what. I get you. I do not getting you. You can just reach out to me on Discord later on. Okay, I think time has gone, so let's call it a day. Bosola, I don't know if you are still on the call. Let me hand over back to you, then you can take it up. Okay, so guys, please make sure you attend to your quiz at the end of today. So yeah, make sure you attempt the quiz. Please, a quite number of you guys are not attempting the quiz. Please, let's ensure we attempt the quiz. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. 2 p.m. Yeah. Okay. So see you guys 2 p.m. tomorrow. If there is any other question, you can drop your question on the Discord channel. Yeah. Leave the answer that. Okay, guys. See you guys tomorrow by 2 p.m. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.